before I went over there, the phone rang, and it was another girlfriend of mine, and I had said, listen, I can't speak right now. I'm going to go over to see the woman who lost their son on the Hampstead Turnpike. And they said, oh, my God, I live next to the woman that accidentally killed him.
Uh-huh.
And that was so weird in itself because, you know,
maybe
I haven't talked to these people in maybe months.
Uh-huh.
And now I go to find out that this is where next door is the woman who actually hit him. And she has 3 boys, and one of her boys was the same name as with the boy that she accidentally had killed.
Mm.
So I had gone over the house, and I had prayed to God so much that day because I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And so I went over there, and everything that came out was so true. And the father had called up and said, because men have a little bit more doubt than women. And once you get a man to believe, though, they're yours forever. And so this man, the father had called the house up and said, could you ask Joanne what was Nicholas feeding the deer in the Poconos? And I'd asked Nicholas, because he's standing right next to me, and he said cookies. And I had said cookies, and the father said, yes, it was cookies. And I had said to the mother, I said, listen, I'm not here to hurt you. I'm only here to tell you that Nicholas is okay, and that I know it's very hard for you to understand this, but he's okay, and that, you know, he's very worried about you because, you know, he's worried that you're going to get very sick here. And so
they're grieving too much, you mean?
They were grieving very too much, and it's been now almost, gosh, it has to be at least 10 years. And I had done about 5 or 6 readings on Donna over the years, and I remember the last time he would come in and say to me, would you call my mother up and tell her to come over here? I want to talk to her. And I'd call her up and I said, you know, Donna, your son wants to talk to you. Come on over. And the last time he talked, he had grown up. So I guess it's your choice whether you want to stay young or grow up or whatever you choose to do. Well, he grew up. He had this beautiful blonde hair that he kept so perfect. He would comb it like every 5 seconds, and he was like, he had a nice physique, and he looked wonderful. And Donna, the mother, was, you know, saying to me, she could believe it because that's the way he was when he was 13 or 12 years old when he passed away.
Uh-huh. And
then he said something to me, and I said, I can't repeat that to your mother. And he says, well, you have to, because I always ask the spirit, you have to give me one thing that is only she, the sitter, that would know positive that it was you.
Yeah, that'd be proof to them.
So that would be proof to them that this is what's going on, because I have to prove it to myself too, but I have to prove it to them. And so he said to me, well, tell my mother that her breasts look beautiful. And I'm like, what? And I was arguing with spirit, you know, in my mind to them, and I'm like, I can't do that. And he turned around. I said, okay, I'll do it. And she was crying because she said it was only she and her husband who knew that she had had her breast done. And I said, well, Nicholas knows too. But that was just so that it was a confirmation that she knew that it was him coming through. And so, you know, she has gotten a lot of peace in the last 10 years getting these readings because she feels comfortable that he is alive and that he is someplace and that one day they'll all get together again and they'll be together as a family.
Yes.
And, you know, so that's...
They are doing things over there.
Absolutely. They're doing things over there and they're having that peace and you know, there's so much to do over there that, you know, and there is no time. So, like, what we consider 80 years could be...
Hello?
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. My other phone went dead. So, what we can consider like 80 years here could be one day there, because there's no time over there. So, life is just, it's so beautiful there.
You're fading away. Can you talk louder again?
Yeah. So it's just so beautiful over there that...
Yeah, because that's what I've been told. They say, oh, they'll be here in a blink of an eye.
Right.
Because to them, it is just a moment or in time.
Exactly.
Over there, where we think it's much longer.
When people have...
Some people say, well, will they wait for me till I get over there, if it's a loved one? And I said, well, it's going to depend on what their plans are. Exactly.
And most times, like I said, for them over in the other space, there is no time. So if we're living 80 years, for them it's a blink of an eye. So more than likely they will be there, but they're not going to hang out with you forever.
No, they may decide there was some other reason to come back, and
exactly,
they may not be there. But it's up to them what their plans are. Also.
Exactly. You have a book out that the person passed away in childbirth, and right, and the person was born. He was a year younger than his mother.
Yeah. I've had a few cases where the child would die and then it would come back into the same family.
Right, exactly. So,
it doesn't always happen, but it's a possibility.
Most times, because I've asked this question before to my spirit guides, most time people wait hundreds, maybe even thousands of years before reincarnating. It all depends on what they want to do.
And they have to get all of the people in the right places at the same time.
Exactly, because they might feel comfortable where they are. If I learned all my lessons and made all my forgiving and did all my stuff, and I'm going to go there and pray.
Yeah, enjoy themselves.
Exactly, because it is so beautiful there. It is pure love, pure happiness, no pain. That's why when people have near-death experiences, they don't want to come back sometimes.
Yes, because they get a glimpse of what it was like.
Right.
And another thing I found in my work, there is no hell.
That's exactly right. I'm glad you brought that out, because there is no hell. We've always been led to believe that there was, but there is no hell, because if there was, there would be nobody in really heaven, if you want to consider it heaven. I call it the other side or another dimension.
Yeah,
Because everyone has done something that is wrong, considering what we were raised to believe that we would go to hell for.
Yeah, and all the sins and all that.
Right, exactly.
And I know, and I was doing my work on the Jesus book, Jesus never knew a sinner.
That's
to him there were no sinners. And of course we all make mistakes. But if we did that and was going to hell for it, everybody'd be there.
Right, exactly. Jesus, because I talk to him all the time, he didn't come to the earth plane to teach religion. He came to teach love and forgiveness. And
yes, that's what I found too.
Yeah, and that was
like if there was love, there would be no violence, there would be no wars.
It would just be wonderful peace.
That's the main thing he's trying to tell people.
That's exactly right, and that's why he chooses people like us, like you, like all the light workers, to get the message out there that he came to teach us love. Love, to love each other, to love ourselves, because if we don't love ourselves first, we can't love anybody else.
So the idea of hell was just a fear-based thing. To
absolutely.
Scare people into doing what they wanted them to do.
Right. Well, I think hopefully people are now catching on that was just all for being fear-based to control us, because I hope that people understand that God would never create a hell to put his children in.
No.
Why would he? Why would my Father, who created me out of love, and because I made a mistake of maybe being nasty to my parents at one point when I was a kid, and now I'm going to go to hell the rest of my eternity? And if I don't, God forgives all. He forgives everything. All you have to do is say, God forgive, and he forgives. He's a forgiving person.
That's what I always say. Would you, as a parent, throw your child in the oven if he did something wrong? God is the same way. He creates us, and he lets us make mistake after mistake after mistake.
Absolutely. And you see how it can become, how easy it is to really play the game. You just got to figure out that there is no errors. There is no mistake. So if you choose, if I got pregnant and I choose to have an abortion, it's my body. It's my life. I choose to do it, and I have free will to do it. And if God is not going to punish me, if I choose to punish myself, it's me punishing me.
Yeah, and I found out that the spirit who was going to be that baby, if you have the abortion, it just says, okay, I'll catch you the next time.
Exactly. And most
people...
Whenever
you're grown up enough, maybe more mature, and then you'll want me then.
Exactly right, because I've done a lot of readings on people that have had abortions, and the soul of the child that they have now is the soul of the baby that was aborted. So they still have the same soul, and it's the same child. It's just that the parents were smart. They can't take care of a baby sometimes at 15 or 16 years old.
Yeah, and they've had time to mature, and they have learned a great lesson from this.
Exactly. And
hopefully, and then by the time they do have the child, they're able to take care of it.
That's exactly right, and I think that's why I always believe that, you do what you feel right for yourself, because nobody should be able to tell you how to run your life. I mean, I know as a parent, we raise our children, we give them the foundation, but when they become adults, that's what they got to learn. This is all part, we could tell them, well, if you put your hand on that fire, you're going to get burned. But you know what they're going to do? They're still going to put their hand on the fire.
Just to test you to find out if you're telling the truth.
or to see if it really is the truth that they're going to get burned, because they got to learn on their own. Because you could tell them every single thing that you've experienced in your lifetime, because they're going to go through it themselves. But they got to go through it. They have to walk it. Because if they don't, then they don't truly get the experience. And that's what you need with this life. You need the experience. You need the emotions. You need to feel everything that you need to feel, or you don't gain it.
Well, that was what happened in one of my sessions. They said, don't take your children's lessons away from them. Because, we have a tendency, we want to protect our children. We don't want them to make the same mistakes we did.
That's right.
But they said, don't take your children's lessons away from them.
Right. Well, we're very good at becoming enablers.
Yeah.
We enable people to do what they're supposed to do, and we enable our children to grow up and to stand on their own 2 feet. And they have to learn that in this world.
Because they're not going to learn anything if we're doing everything for them.
Exactly. And whatever they've done, we learn to forgive, we learn to love, we learn to get on with our lives. It's all part of life. There's not one family on the earth plane that's not dysfunctional. And that's what we learn from. We learn from the dysfunctional. Because if there was a family that wasn't, then they're not growing. So it's in the dysfunctional that we learn.
Yeah, because we do all make mistakes. We just say, well, if you're smart enough, you'll say, I'm not going to do that again.
Of course. And if you do it again, you'll notice how it happens a little. If you're wiser to it, if you're clearer, you'll say to yourself, oh, my God, that happened again.
Yeah, and then, it will until you learn the lesson.
Exactly. It will keep happening until you learn the lesson. And then it'll never happen again. But they'll test you on it. And just to see if you learned. And then it'll go away forever. So I always tell people, try it out.